Hey, welcome back to our channel. We've got something kind of fun,
Different?
scary, different. So stick around and find out. Okay, so what are we doing here at Costco?
We have been here in Charleston for 2 months now,
Yep.
and we are expecting our first hurricane. First hurricane for the Californians who have managed the wildfires, mudslides, earthquakes, no problem. Hurricanes, this one's a new one. Today is Sunday, and we know that shelves are going to get cleared out because
it's got to cross a lot of land. So
we're
hopefully
trying to be
it won't be very strong when it
wise.
gets here. But again, like Diane said, we're Californians and we don't know what to do. And tons of people are sending us hurricane preparedness list. I mean, seriously, we're getting emails from people.
Yeah, we're trying to be wise and take it seriously.
We found a spot in our house.
Len is not taking it seriously.
I would if it was coming directly at us from the ocean, but because it's coming over so much land, I'm expecting it's going to be just a nice, fun rainstorm. But I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm right. But if I'm wrong, I agree with Diane. I was a Boy Scout. Always be prepared. Always be prepared. So Diane is the queen of preparedness, and she's already ordered satellite radio. What'd you say you got? A satellite radio?
A weather satellite radio.
Little cooktop thingy.
A fan lantern thing that
a
charges
battery
your phone.
fan.
So we're here to get water and supplies.
And we're going to show you some of our house. Thankfully, we discovered that we have hurricane windows, so I don't have to get up on ladders with plywood and board our windows up. Not that this storm I would have to anyway, but we've already found we're in a Facebook group. We're in a Facebook group with other neighbors in our neighborhood, and I think they're used to laughing at Californians that move in, asking the hurricane questions. And we had a friend who's also moved here. You've met Kim and Phil. They moved here last year. And in her Facebook group a year ago, she asked the same question. And they said, don't worry about it. But we don't know not to worry, so we're going to worry a little.
Yeah. But we'll just be prepared.
Yeah.
If not this one,
at some point, if we expect to live here anytime, at some point, we're going to deal with a severe storm.
We've already been through one tornado warning, so let's just be prepared.
And we chose a house specifically that was less of a flood zone because we knew at some point there's going to be flooding here. And so we don't want to deal with that so much. But we've got some big trees in our yard we're already a little concerned about, and we've been asking about the windows. So we're going to show you what we did at Costco.
We're going to ride it through.
We're going to show you some of our preparedness. And you could either say, good job, or you could say, oh, you silly Californians. Either way, put your stuff in the comments. Let us know. We'd like to hear what you think.
All right, let's go to Costco.
Let's go to Costco. Well, we didn't end up filming in Costco, and all we ended up buying was flats of water, which I'll show you about our emergency preparedness box that we put together. Right now, I'm going to show you about how we took down a tree that needed to go away. All right, so getting ready for the storm and all the winds. We have this dead tree here. I'm not so really scared of this. We're not obviously in the worst part of the storm, and I don't want to make light of the fact that it's going to be hitting Florida pretty severely and there's going to be a lot of damage. But we're already getting alerts up here for tropical weather watches, surge watches, and we don't know the route. It may swing back around and hit us a little bit more as it comes through Florida. In any case, we are taking it serious, maybe a little more serious than we need to. But again, we're Californians and it's the first time we've lived here. So, got myself a little toy and we're gonna take a little tree down. Wow.
Having to chop it up? Oh wait, you forgot. Timber!
Yeah, I forgot timber. Yeah. We don't even have to chop it up. It broke so much.
It's definitely dead and dried out.
Seriously dead and rotten. just broke apart. Okay, we're gonna spend some time chopping it up. Okay, as we get ready for the storm coming in from Ian, again, not wanting to make light of what is happening in Florida. I'm probably gonna say that a few times here, just because it is so serious and we're praying and being mindful of what is happening in Florida. But the reason why I'm showing you this Coburg sign is on that platform right there, and then on the ground normally is a cow and a milk bottle, a giant milk bottle. Let me show you the picture here. From what I've seen, it's supposed to normally look like. But when a big storm is coming in, they remove the cow, and that's kind of a joke in this area, kind of serious. And so whenever that happens, people know, okay, now it's time to start getting ready for a big storm. So even though we will not be getting, obviously, Category 3, 2, or 1, like Florida is getting, we are now on official tropical storm warning, which means that by Friday and Saturday, we are going to get severe rains, winds, and coastal flooding. I just, obviously, being new to the neighborhood and know that the area floods, this is called the Low Country, and it's, a coastal town. We are set a little bit more inland. So again, I'm not entirely too worried, particularly about flooding, except for just literally right down the street at the rec center, they are offering sandbags. So that's making me wonder just a little bit. But I've done a tour of my house and I've looked, and we seem to be raised when they built the subdivision. We're certainly raised from the street. I mean, our driveway goes down a significant amount to the street level, and we've got this retention pond with the tree here, and our backyard is, goes way down to the retention drainage forested area there, and then flows down into the street drainage. I suspect our streets may flood. I mean, there's that possibility, but I don't think that we'll have water come into our house. We're far enough inland. That said, we are between two major rivers, the Ashley River and the Stono River, I think. And it's part of the waterway system here with all the islands that are around the area. John's Island is just a couple miles away from us. And so the area does flood. It does. But I think, as my neighbors are telling me, we've already had some pretty severe rain this summer that was way more than normal. And this probably won't be much more than that. What people are more concerned about are these trees falling into our house. And I have to tell you, I'm a little concerned. I love living by the trees, but that does mean there's risk. So we'll be protected. We're okay. We'll be fine. But we are doing our preps. Even though this may not be the major storm, we still, as a new resident to the area, should have a box. So let me take a few moments and show you our emergency prep box that we're building. Diane's been buying different supplies, so let's take a look at that. I made sure I got a big tub that has wheels so that if some reason I'm not around or incapacitated, Diane can roll this into the house. We want to make sure, they say, to have at least 3 days of water per person, so 1 gallon per person. And then we also have all the bottled water, so we have more than we need for a 3-day event. Then we got D-cell batteries for our lanterns. Diane bought this camping fan sort of thing, which is good because if you're in an enclosed room in the heat, to have some air moving is important to us. We got a satellite wind-up or battery operated radio, which is cool. And then, of course, Pop-Tarts. That's more of a humorous thing. For years and years, we've heard that one of the first things to go off the shelves when people are getting ready for a hurricane is Pop-Tarts. And I guess it makes sense because they're foil wrapped, they're non-perishable, Kids like them, people like them. You don't have to cook them. They're, of course, better toasted. But in any case, I bought some Pop-Tarts just to have them. We're obviously, our room is the laundry room and pantry area in the middle of the house. We've got lots of non-perishable food. We should be fine. The issue is more if the water goes out, and the power goes out for a while, then we become a little bit more concerned on how to live. But I got this box here too. In addition to the wheels, I got it because it had the red lid. There were other styles of boxes with lids that were just a little bit smaller, probably more convenient in size. But the rugged nature of this and the bright red lid just screamed to me, emergency preparedness. So, yeah, you gotta do that. Okay, in my garage, I have this area set up. It's the only plug in the garage. That's so bizarre to me. But in any case, I have this battery charging station set up. So this is where I charge for all of my tools. And I've made sure in advance of this storm coming that all of those batteries are charged in case I need to use the brand new chainsaw I got to trim down some branches that may have blown around or hit the house. I have this big Die-Hard portable power. I've used it a number of times. I bought it back in Half Moon Bay. I used it because we had the rolling blackouts in California with the wildfires and the wind events. And I need it for medical devices, like CPAP at night. And so I've got this inverter that goes into it. I've also needed it to actually charge my car. It's a kind of a cool thing. It comes set up with jump cables hooked up to it, and it works. I've had to sadly use it a few times. So that's part of our prep here. Again, we've been getting lots of advice from people, notes sent to us with suggestions, what to pack in your emergency kit, a first aid kit, a few other things will be going in that box as well. Another suggestion we were told was to fill our bathtubs up. And if your bathtub has a slow leak, to take duct tape and cover the drain before you fill it up. The point of doing that is if the water goes down, you want to flush your toilets. And so you just put a pot or something at each bathtub and fill your toilet tank so that you can at least get rid of the waste. So, I mean, these are just some practical things. Somebody told us to make sure before the storm hits that you all bathe in case your water does go out for 3, 4, 5 days. At least you start clean. That seems practical. I appreciate that advice. So there's lots of random certain things. Obviously, we need to remove pots. I mean, I just planted some new pots right here, right there. And so those need to come off the driveway before the storm comes into town. Decorations on our porch. That's all part of the storm preps. Again, not to present this as I know what I'm doing. That's the whole point of this. We're really researching and trying to learn because we don't know what we're doing. And of course, every neighbor, we have a Facebook group. Some neighbors are like, it's just going to be another rainy Friday. And some neighbors are, be prepared. Don't be concerned. And then others are, yes, be concerned. So everybody's fear level across the map is very different. We don't want to take chances. Like Diane said, so what? You have to drain the bathtub when you're done. So what? You bought emergency supplies. Be prepared, right? I was a Boy Scout, Eagle Scout. Our motto was be prepared. And so, yeah, we're going to be prepared. We're not going to be fearful until we start to have our windows crash through and trees fall in our house. That might scare us a bit, but some wind and rain, we'll be fine. All right, I'm getting ready for the storm. I have removed all the decoration from our porch. I have taken all the plants away, turned that big heavy metal pot over so it doesn't fill up with water. I had just planted some topiaries in tall pots that I put there. Placed all of the items in my garage over here. Hopefully they'll be safe. And then we're going to put a time-lapse video to show how fast this fills up. We're expecting rains to start coming in this morning. It is Thursday. Ian is still over land in Orlando as a tropical storm just south of Orlando, but the outer bands are already here in Charleston, and it's supposed to be a very rainy day today, and tomorrow tropical storm force winds, possibly landfall as a hurricane level 1. That's not likely, but some models are showing that it is possible. So again, being our first experience, we're trying to judge from neighbors what to do, but so many neighbors are all over the map. So at the very least, even with basic winds, things blow around. So I figure if we're gonna get strong winds, I'm gonna clear out my yard so that I don't have to go retrieving items down the street tomorrow or Saturday. Okay, I want to interrupt our video here showing you all the storm and all the preparation to say, would you please subscribe? We would love you to subscribe and just be on this journey of our life with us and our take of things. We have a lot of new subscribers and it's wonderful. And I just ask, if you're watching and you've not yet subscribed, that you would join our community. Make a comment. I respond to every single comment. I love hearing from all of you, and so would appreciate that. So thank you. Okay, back to what we're talking about today with the hurricane. I have to admit that I am very nervous about this tree. It's obviously been here for decades and is a strong tree, has gone through numerous storms and is still standing. That said, a lot of neighbors in the area are taking down these big trees. They have to get city permission. And as you can see, this one goes right over the roof of the house. Let me get it from a different angle. Okay, you can see that big tree in our yard dwarfing our little house, which isn't really all that little. But in any case, this tree is massive and it swings over that side of the house. And I really don't believe it's gonna fall, but if you're gonna worry and be nervous about something in a hurricane, that's what I'm nervous about. So there you go. I'd meant to get it checked for diseases and worthiness earlier. I certainly am going to now. That's the whole story of good intentions, isn't it? Until they become action, you may have regrets. So there you go. Waffles and I are getting gas. We are filling up our tank. Again, we don't expect that this is going to be a major hurricane event, but they suggest always when big storms are coming, in case of extended power outages, to make sure your tank is full. I assume just for general getting around afterwards if the power doesn't come back on, or frankly, if it does get bad and you do need to evacuate, in the middle of the night, you're not searching to fill your tank up. So we have topped it off. Waffles is not at all concerned about what's coming on. And it's starting to get breezy and odd here. And as I keep saying, I don't know if I should be concerned yet or not. I really don't think I need to be. But yeah, this is our first time. And so it's a little odd. Okay, we all know that taking out our dogs in the rain to go potty is not a fun thing. They don't like it. I don't like it. Waffles is a go out on leash dog, and so it means I always have to go out with her. I don't want to go out in that. And then if we're having hurricane or tropical storm force winds, I don't want a poor little puppy to be swept up and pulled like a kite on my leash. Of course, that wouldn't happen, but that is humorous to imagine, if not a bit scary. In any case, she doesn't like to go out in the rain. So I saw somebody suggest that you get some sod and put it in a kiddie pool. Well, I don't have a kiddie pool and I don't have access to sod, but I did go to Home Depot and see these interlocking tiles, and I'm going to put it in my garage on a plastic sheet, and I'm gonna set it up, and then I'm gonna do something a little gross. I'm going to scent it. I'm going to get a little bit of her poop from one of her things today and just put a little bit on the lawn so that she'll know that that's what that's for, because she's never been allowed to go potty inside the house. So I don't want to freak her out too badly, but I know that neither of us want to go out in the hurricane tropical storm force winds. All right, there's the completed little patch of grass. Hopefully this will work. It is officially a hurricane, and the birds seem to know it. They are going crazy. There are geese, there are vultures, there are crows. I don't know what else they are. They're kind of black spots on the video. I don't know if you can even see them if I zoom in close, but they're going wild, trying to get away. It is Thursday. The Hurricane Ian has left Florida. It's still off the shore a little bit, but now its route is being narrowed down and it is increased. It is officially now a hurricane at 80 miles an hour. Hopefully it won't get any more than that. And it's heading right at Charleston, just north of downtown in another little town called Mount Pleasant. That's what they're expecting at this point, but it could still change. That said, we're just 10 miles away from that. So the winds are really picking up. We haven't gotten any rain yet, but the skies it's been dark all day. Clouds are moving quickly, and it's gusty. It's also good, cool temperature. Being from Half Moon Bay, when we got over 65, it was warm, a lot of high 50s, low 60s all the time. And the temperature the last couple days here has been under 70. And today it's like 64, 65. I know other people here are saying it's cold. I'm loving it. It feels so good. But whatever. That's the silver lining, right? Gotta enjoy everything when you can. Okay, it's 7:30 in the morning, the day of the storm arriving, September 30th. And sunrise is coming, and so finally I can get some images. Our pond here is starting to fill up. I came out at 5:30 this morning, and even though it had been raining gently all night long, gusty, but the rains didn't seem to be strong because the pond had not filled up. But I suppose it was just saturating so that now it's gonna fill up. I've set time-lapse photography on this to show you how quick it does fill up if the rain gets bad. It's supposed to start getting really, really bad. We are getting alerts on the television for flash flood warning. I'm sorry. The wind just blew a bunch of cold rain. It's a cold storm. It's shockingly cold. And the rain just blew in water on me. I'm at our house porch here. And it's gusty. So far, this is not as bad as some of the other storms we had last month. But, it's not come ashore yet. So I expect it's going to get worse and worse. And my gutters are overflowing there because that's the corner of the house from the garage. It just comes and pours down the two roofs where they meet down into the yard. And that's why that pond fills up. Okay, it's 9:30 in the morning. It was supposed to be really bad right now. And obviously there are gusts. The rain has come in and filled up the pond ever so slightly. It actually has gone down. It was higher earlier. As it turns out, the storm is headed a little more northeast of us for landfall. So perhaps that's why it's not as bad. And it also hasn't hit landfall till, a couple more hours from now. It's gusty. And these trees right above our house, they're blowing. But we've had some freak storms earlier in August, late July. It was much worse than it is now so far, and I'm thankful for that. I'm not complaining. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. The retention pond is filling up, and look at that water blowing off the roof across the street onto the other house. Just sideways rain down the street. Our power went off for about an hour. It's back on now, and then it's flickered off again and came right back on. So, but it's dumping. Okay, a big branch out of our tree fell onto our driveway. May have started on our roof. We did hear a thump and stuff a little while ago. So I'd rather a branch though than the whole trunk. So hopefully things will be fine. Pond is officially full, and over at the far end there is starting to drain over the lawn, through the lawn down to the street. This is the third time that it's been full since we lived here, and our neighbors told us prior to moving in that they'd never seen it full before. So it must be us. Well, we have an official swamp lake in our backyard now. This has happened a couple times with previous thunderstorms late July, early August. But this is turning out to be a legit serious storm, of course. And it's going on for hours now. Came in a little later than we expected, but it's shown up and it's doing its thing. Feel the gusts. Wow. By watching it, can you feel it? I can feel it. It's blowing me around in my screen porch. Thing about screen porches is the screens fill up with water droplets, and then every once in a while a big gust comes and blows all the water as a big spray right at you. That's kind of funny, I think. We were told to stay inside, so it is kind of my fault. Let's assess the damage here. That seems to be the most obvious. That there came from up there. And it doesn't seem the house is dented at all, so hopefully it just landed right there. Glad I got a chainsaw. That won't be too bad to take apart. But yeah, boy. Look at all of these little pine cones. I can do a great Christmas craft. I have enough to do a lot of things that. Those are called silver lining, folks. If you get lemon, make lemonade. And if you get pine cones, make a holiday wreath. Okay. Seems to be a lot of things on the roof. Yeah, that's hanging over the gutter there. But the trees are standing, so I'm feeling blessed. Everybody in our neighborhood's concerned about trees falling. I see posts about that all the time. Apparently a number have, and I've already mentioned that a few times, but it's still kind of gusty. You're probably hearing that in the microphone. I'm sorry. Oh. Look, there's waffles in the window. She's so curious. Why did I go outside? Daddy, please take me out. Well, let's look at what happened in the backyard. It just seems to have filled up with water. We do have a branch that fell off of that tree up there, likely. Not too bad. Of course, I'm not going out there anytime soon. In fact, I've not walked out there at all. To be perfectly honest, I'm a little nervous about snakes. There are a variety of snakes that people show pictures of here in our neighborhood. Some of them venomous. So, not a fan. Don't need to go out there. I like the wild look. I just don't need to be in the wild. But the damage doesn't look bad at all. In fact, it doesn't look like there's any damage other than that one branch. And just lots of water that will drain. This is swampland. It was made to hold water and to drain water and to be this way. So, all's good. So my fears and concerns about our tree falling down in front of our house are not so unfounded. This is just literally right around the corner, and they have one of those retention ponds. Let me zoom in here. Just like us, but the roots clearly did not care for that, and in those strong winds fell down. Thankfully, it did not fall into their house, but it did block one of two access points to our street. So that's okay. We all have another way in and out. But wow. Yeah, I'm gonna get my tree checked. The hurricane has passed and we are safe. We expected we would be safe, but we're safe.
Doesn't everybody expect that they're safe until they're
not? Yeah, absolutely. That's human nature, isn't it? So it's sunny, it's beautiful, it's as if nothing's happened.
Yeah.
Everybody's put their chairs back on their porches and their wreaths on their doors, and life has returned, at least in our neighborhood. Obviously, in parts of Florida and even, frankly, parts of South Carolina, there's a lot of storm cleanup, a lot of enduring flood, a lot of damage.
Yeah, we got exceptionally lucky.
Yeah.
The hurricane went north of us, and it was just north of us, so that there was an offshore flow.
Right.
So a lot of the surge did not happen here.
In Charleston, but...
I mean, we had other effects and other damage, and obviously the winds, Category 1 is a whole different story than a Category 4, almost 5.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it still was scary. I mean, it was a real deal. Like,
so on a scale of 1 to 10, how scared do you think you were at the height of it versus the prep for it?
Yeah, the prep was actually worse because you don't know what you don't know.
We don't know what we don't know.
We are Californians. We know everything there is to know about mudslides and
earthquakes.
Wildfires.
We have wildfires down. Yeah. Run. Get out of a wildfire.
Yeah.
But
and like they're almost instinctual, but this was a new one.
Yeah.
So I will admit that after the nightly news the night before it hit, I was in full panic attack mode.
Yeah.
Like, this is going to be bad, and we're going to die, and we're going to be the idiots on TV that are being rescued by boat, thinking, why did they stay in their house? Yeah.
Yeah. And I was admittedly getting nervous the night before as well, and even the morning of. Well, as I woke up in the morning, as you saw in some of my take on looking out the window, it's like it didn't seem so bad, and I thought it was going to be bad, and I thought there was going to be howling noises all night long, shaking our house.
The imaginings are,
and maybe really... in a Cat 3, Cat 4 that happens, but in the Cat 1 and the build of our house, it was pretty quiet and secure inside.
That's the fortunate thing, is that we are lucky enough to have a newer home that has a lot of hurricane prevention.
Right, the building codes
details to
are built into this house,
which we planned for. Every house we showed in Florida as well as here, we were having conversations with the hurricane preparedness, and somehow I knew we would move here and there would be an end.
Yeah, everybody we talked to said, oh, hurricanes don't come here to Charleston very often, and within 2 months we had one. So, and as I said on another video,
it chased us through Orlando to here.
I said this on a short video you may have seen. Ian was stalking us, and I know it's not about us, but it's fun. if we can make humor in light of a really
It helps
horrible
us cope.
situation, it helps us cope. And it was as if Ian was stalking us.
Yeah.
It heard we were going to go to Orlando, so it did. And
Worse
then when
yet,
we
like
weren't there,
Fort Myers,
came to Charleston.
We took an
We
amazing
vacationed
vacation
there,
a couple
yeah.
years ago
Yeah.
where we spent weeks in Fort Myers and all along that coastline.
Because it's
So
all
we knew
about
all
us.
of those communities, and it's like I feel personally
Yeah.
wounded that
Yeah.
Sanibel Island
We love
is
Sanibel
devastated
Island,
like
yeah.
it is. It was absolutely the most charming, wonderful place, and I
We
thought,
have a bunch of
how
sand dollars we
idyllic.
got there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in our jar here at
Yeah.
the house. So
It's not
seeing the
really about us,
destruction,
obviously.
It's absolutely not.
But again, it's part of coping and finding the silver linings and the humor in the midst of a tragedy to deal with it. And you always deal with, don't we all have some level of survivor's guilt when
Yeah.
we go through something and the person next to us doesn't? It's just
It's
or
like in a
doesn't survive it.
wildfire
Oh,
when
it's
the
horrible.
when the house next to you
Yeah.
burns and yours is standing.
Yeah.
It
So
happens
there's
everywhere.
some of that, and we'll admit to that. Please, I hope you understand where we're coming from. Never, as I've tried to say throughout this video, never are we taking any of this light for those affected more severely than us.
But
We're
I do feel
grateful
good.
we weren't more severely.
I do
dealt
feel
with.
good that we did plan and prepare well. That we
did.
didn't take it casually.
Well, let's say you.
I didn't take it casually.
She early on was much more ramped up to be prepared than I was. It took
I
a
was
little more
watching
convincing.
L98
Yeah.
as it formed.
It took
and
more
saying,
convincing,
This
and-
might be bad.
And as it became more real, I became more serious and jumped on board with her. But initially, she
But
thought
this
I was
is-
resisting.
this is part of-
I just didn't think it was necessary.
Living here, though,
Yeah, it's good to have a
is
box.
that you have to be prepared. Just
Yeah.
like when you're in California, there are things you have to prepare for there.
Yeah.
So
Hurricanes you have a lead up for, but other things happen
But
here that you
that's
need that
almost
box
worse.
for,
I'll
like
be
a
honest.
tornado.
that's almost worse.
It's true. It does. The anticipation of
Yeah,
fear
they
building
get
up.
tension and so forth.
Yeah, yeah.
But it does give you the time to plan. And so here's what we've learned. I mean, you showed the box and
Right.
some of the contents of the box that were suggested by
Oh,
FEMA.
we should
and-
be eating a Pop-Tart right now because we never opened the box.
Or our new tradition also is Rice Krispie treats
Yes.
in every hurricane.
Make a Rice Krispie treat tray.
Yeah, yeah.
But what are the things you thought? I mean, because we went through the list of what FEMA suggested, but in practical reality, those are the basic necessities.
yeah.
What are some things you came to realize we should have had?
Yeah, like when the power went out, then I started going, oh, we should have.
Yeah.
So we should have bought the headlight, flashlight
Yeah.
on your head things.
So when they say have a
because your
flashlight,
hands need to be free
yeah,
to be doing whatever.
it's more practical to have that kind of flashlight than a handheld.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and
We had
and
the
when
lantern
house,
type,
I
though.
mean, we were lucky that it was happening during daylight, but often
Yeah.
these things are happening in the middle
Right,
of the
our
night.
power did go out for about an hour or so, and then it flickered off and on a few more times. But it was during the day, and so we still could operate in our house. So the
Yeah.
flashlights were never needed.
But if
For
the
us.
power is out and you're in panic mode trying to deal with whatever
Right.
crisis,
Right,
you don't have an extra hand for a flashlight.
right.
Those little headlight flashlights would have been a good thing, and those are going to get purchased and into the box.
Well, I have one. We'll just put it in the box because I don't go camping anymore, so I don't need it in where I've got it stored now. So I'm going to relocate it to the box.
Yeah. The clicker things that light candles.
Yes, a fire
There should be
starter.
one of those. People talk about putting waterproof matches. I'm sorry, we're now in 2022. I think we'll use the clicker.
Yeah, we don't even own matches. We have one of those.
But why
those
would
triggers.
you? You know, it's like, anyway.
Well, when they go out of fuel, though.
So, yeah,
have a few
that's
of those
important.
in there.
A roll of large garbage bags, and I'm talking like the outdoor heavy-duty garbage bags, because people talk about a
Right.
tarp. I think that there's more use for the garbage bags. Like if you've got a seal around a door, you can use multiple garbage bags and duct tape.
Yeah.
As well as heavy
They're
things.
small enough to work with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or if you've got to seal something up and run through the storm,
Yeah.
you put it in a
And
garbage bag.
here's
A tarp isn't
honestly,
gonna
let
help
me
you.
just say, here's the challenge for me and the whole box idea. And it's a silly challenge, but let me just say this, is that we had access to our house the whole time because our home wasn't damaged. And so it's like, I can go to the cabinet and get the trash bags. But not everything is a Category 1 light tropical storm. Sometimes you've got a true disaster where part of your home is destroyed and you won't have access to that. And the
in a
box isn't
tornado
just for an
situation-
earthquake. Box isn't just for a hurricane. It's for the tornado. It's for an earthquake, and things like that. So having some of these things
And that was
centrally located.
Yeah,
are
and that was
important.
the thing about the night before, hearing how quickly the storm surge happened.
Right.
And
Oh
how
my
it
goodness.
surprised people. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh my goodness. That's true. It'll happen so quickly that we don't have time to wander around the house
Right.
and gather these things up. So that's where you put it in the waterproof box and
Right.
you have it all together.
It's
So,
important.
Yeah. And I already mentioned it, but duct tape.
Yeah. We heard this idea.
I always knew that
duct
duct tape was the most important thing you could have. Like
It is.
when we went on our
You
road
can
trip,
MacGyver
duct
everything.
tape. It
Yeah.
does everything.
It
Like
does.
you can always utilize the duct tape.
Yeah.
So absolutely having the duct tape in your box. But one of the things that they tell you to do to prepare for is to fill your bathtubs and use that water to put it in the toilet to flush
Right,
the
in
toilet
case
when
the
the
water
power is
system
out or the
goes
water
down.
system's down
Yeah.
for extended periods of time. Well, a lot of us know that our tubs don't seal up properly and they will drain
They have slow leaks.
overnight or
Yeah.
whatever. So to seal those up, use the duct tape first. Make sure it's secure and dry and really holding, and then
Yeah.
fill it up
Yeah.
with the water.
For some reason, our duct tape didn't really hold on the surface of our particular tub.
On one of them.
No,
But
well,
the other one it did.
it's still lifted up a little bit, but yeah,
It held.
thankfully our tubs have really good drains. We just moved into the house;
house.
it's new. We're learning all this.
Yeah, new house.
The seals worked really well.
Yeah.
But you know your tub. If you generally have slow leaks in your tub, then you want to make sure that you prepare that because you need
And
the water.
that is useless unless you have a bucket or a pitcher or a something.
Yes.
So where are those located? Because those need to be utilized as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the other thing that I panic attacked in the middle of the night, when you really get down to it, what do you want to save? What can't be replaced?
Yeah.
What is absolutely priceless to you? And that's like a horrible feeling. But until you take the moment to actually think that through and have that gathered,
Yeah.
having it all gathered in one place rather than having to run around and think about it.
And honestly,
Is
the
really
challenge is to know where that one place should be. For your own safety, you're supposed to be in an internal lower room, at least above expected or possible flood levels, without windows. You're supposed to be in that kind of room for your safety. But like we thought there was something that needed to be refrigerated. We have a little refrigerator upstairs versus downstairs. And I was like, well, if the roof gets pulled off, upstairs isn't all that safe. And you can't put your entire house in your safe room. So it's a challenge, but it's a challenge that's worth thinking through because, like she did pull our wedding photos out and our meds out, and well, the meds you're told to put in your meds and your documents into
Except
your
for
box.
you can't put just meds into your box because meds do expire.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah, you have to put them in as the. I
Yeah.
mean, that's what the problem with an earthquake or a tornado is. You can't prepare for those generally. But, a hurricane, you have time. And so your meds that you're currently on can go in your active box at that point. Yeah. It's never clean cut easy. But as I heard I think one of the governors said, or one of the emergency managers, they said exactly in a different phrase what Diane had been saying. What's the problem with being over-prepared? It's worse to be under-prepared. And Diane kept saying that to me in a sense, when she felt I was being resistant. And again, I don't feel I was being resistant. I just wasn't there yet.
I think you also were trying to keep me from spiraling
Maybe. yes,
into
let's
panic mode.
Yeah.
Who
knows?
Because
maybe.
I do get like planner.
Yes, go ahead and attribute those good high moral values onto me.
You're
That's
so
fine.
good, honey.
I wasn't thinking that,
Okay,
to be honest.
but let's talk about things that are really important. In the midst of my panic mode, I thought, what am I going to wear tomorrow? Because if you're in the news shot getting rescued out of the water in the boat, don't wear a white t-shirt.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Don't wear a dress that's going to float up over your head. It's like, what am I going to wear? So think through these things.
Oh my goodness.
Put your hair back in a pony.
That's
You don't
the
want your hair in your
difference
eyes when you're
between-
trying to save your house.
I was going to say between men and women, but I don't know that that's entirely a gender thing. But yeah, everybody's a different personality.
Put on
right?
shoes that lace up or that tie on.
That
won't come
that
off.
is a true statement, and I've been wearing flip flops since the day we moved in here since the day we left Half Moon Bay. Okay, I've been wearing flip flops for the last 10 years. The question that I know a lot of you have is, how did Waffles do?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you know what they say, that animals can sense when a
Yeah.
disaster is coming.
They sense your feelings. They sense your emotions too.
Yeah, if she sensed the hurricane, then her sensors are dead. Because she was as relaxed as could be. She was sleeping all day. She didn't care.
She was happy just as long as she was with us.
Yes, she didn't want to go out when it was raining. When I opened the door to go
Which is
potty.
totally normal. That's
Yeah,
what
she
she
doesn't
does.
like that under normal rain. She definitely didn't like it with the wind howling. But she just was so relaxed. And I
Yeah.
think partly because they do sense our mood.
Mm-hmm.
And we were trying to take it in stride. So she was good. She never had to use that temporary potty set up in the garage that I showed you. Never had to use that. And I don't mind. I'm actually happy about that. There was a moment where there was a break in the wind and the rain, and she happily went out and did her thing. So other than that, but in your
also-
box, in the box, you have to make sure that you have pet supplies in there. So
Yeah.
have some extra food.
Yeah.
You know,
And we
make sure
keep
you buy
a
water.
to-go bag for her all the
Absolutely.
time.
Yeah.
That even will take over to the pet sitters. You know,
Right.
that has all of her
Absolutely.
essentials.
We always have that
But-
at the ready.
Have it all together once again.
Yeah.
In the box, ready for your pet. What will they need? And that includes a reflector collar or harness, because if they are swimming, you need to be able to spot them.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
that kind of thing. So,
And
think of your pet.
Have your dog chipped, or they insert that little thing so that you can find it if they did run away
Because
from
right
you
now we
or
are
get
taking
separated.
dogs in from Florida that
Yeah.
have just been
and
loose
by we,
and
South Carolina.
yeah.
We haven't. And then we have a little Apple AirTag on her collar, so that if we needed to, we could find her as well if she got away. And that's the sad thing you hear, is that dogs are being rescued without their people. And
that in
Yeah.
the chaos and confusion of
so take care of your love fur babies.
yeah. And we're glad that we didn't have a lot of lightning, because that also would have been part of her agitation.
The thunder and lightning
She
really,
can't handle.
that she crawls up into our lap as tight as she can get. But this, she was just like, whatever. It's
Yeah.
just another day.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the background, you can hear chainsaws because, as I showed you, that giant tree fell just around the corner from us.
We're so fortunate because we have some enormous trees around us and around
Yeah.
our house and in front of our house that I was seriously concerned for, that this would be the storm that would bring them down.
And of course,
And
as
we
new
made it.
residents, and the money of dealing with the tree, and the worse if the damage it could cause. And that's what they say, that it's not the wind as much as it is the water, that even if that tree fell, the reason would be is because of root rot from all the water, just soaking there. And the water is still there, and it will be for the whole week. So
But it won't be Cat 1 winds, so
right. But trees
Yeah.
fall even without wind. But yes, we're still going to deal with that concern. I'm going to get the tree check. That's a fairly quick follow-up to all of what we've gone through. So how are you feeling now, the next day? Everything's put back. Is it just life
that's
is normal?
That's the strange thing about all of this, is that we were so fortunate, and everything just snaps back to normal,
Yeah,
and you go on like nothing ever happened.
right.
But something has happened.
Something
and
has happened.
There are people that are desperately life-altering changed.
Yeah.
And the storm is still going and still causing havoc.
Yeah, it's raining up the
So,
whole eastern seaboard, so who knows how
We
much
know that
flooding
there
will
are
happen.
organizations that
Yeah.
are there to help. And one of
Yes.
them is
There we go.
Convoy of Hope.
I
Down
was
below.
totally going to do this. We hadn't talked about this.
Convoy of Hope
Yes.
is an organization we understand and know about because we have family members who work with them and work for them.
Right.
And actually, we talked to one of our family members as he was leading a convoy of 16 semi-trucks headed for Fort Myers with food and supplies and water and all the helps that people are going to need.
And they were going to be meeting other semi trucks, and so
The
if
storm
you're-
hadn't even finished. The storm
Right.
hadn't even come ashore in South Carolina,
Yeah.
and he was
They were
already
already down
almost
there.
there.
Yeah.
And it's like, God bless him,
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
yeah, that he would be the one to go in and help. I just know he's the type of person I would want to talk to in
Right.
that desperate moment.
And they go there with more than just water and food. They go there with labor. It's all almost entirely volunteer-driven organization. I don't know if you realize, but we went to college with the founder.
Yes.
He was one of my teachers, mentors on my photography and life yearbook team, believe it or not. So, great guy. He and his brother, the
6
Donaldson
degrees
brothers.
of
I know, it's
separation.
wild, huh? And so it's a fantastic organization. They mobilize teams of volunteers.
They are boots on the ground, meeting the need.
everywhere, global. Literally, they are all over the globe meeting.
So if you
major
feel like
disaster.
you need to do something, that you need to help somehow,
Yeah.
that's a great way to contribute and know that those funds are going
I
to...
did hear the governor of Florida say if you want to come and volunteer, you can. They have a site where you can register. So there's ways that you personally
But
can get
Florida
involved.
is not the only place hurting, so...
No, this is true. But if money is the way you can make a difference, find an organization you like, and if you don't know of one, then please consider Convoy of Hope.
Yeah,
Fantastic, very practical group.
yeah.
And again, mostly volunteer. It's very, very lean in terms of the maintenance of the organization. So most of your dollar is going to actual supportive people.
Yeah.
And that's important when you're dealing with charities these
yes,
days.
yes.
So, yeah. Well,
We got to
we got through
finish
it.
setting up the
Yeah.
kit.
Yeah, we're
We've
gonna
learned
work
something.
more on that. Hopefully, it'll be years before we ever
Hope
need
we
one again.
never
Hopefully,
need
never.
it.
That's a better way to say it. Not in years. Never. I'd like to never have a hurricane again.
But what is our bingo card?
Yeah, we've done them all. I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
So,
we've done
natural
earthquakes,
disaster bingo.
Natural disaster bingo again. A silly little joke here. And what are the other
Oh,
natural?
lizard alert.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, lizards are everywhere. Oh, that's on the inside.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. Is it?
Go over there and look. Take the camera.
It is.
How?
Okay.
That's a big lizard.
No, it's not a big lizard.
But how?
I don't know how lizards get inside our screened porch. That one's inside. How does it get inside? I mean, it's not perfectly sealed, but I even put in that foam, spray foam, in the corners there. Looks like our house has a disease right now, huh? I need to trim it up. But nonetheless, I found what I thought were the only openings for creepy crawlers to get in here. And apparently I failed. The problem is I won't be able to catch it, and it won't be able to get out. We had this happen. A frog and a lizard got in here before I sealed those, and they died. So, okay.
All right. Natural disaster bingo.
Yes.
Let's play natural disaster bingo. I think our card is full.
I think our card's full.
I think we got
yeah.
a bingo. Because now we've got a hurricane.
We've got a hurricane under our belt.
And we actually have sailed through a hurricane as well as...
Right, that's true. We sailed through Hurricane Hillary on a Disney cruise line.
Yeah.
Yeah, years
That's an
and years
extra
ago.
bonus point.
Yeah.
Obviously, earthquakes,
Earthquakes,
wildfires,
mudslides, all the things that hit
okay,
California.
tsunami.
We've been through 2 tsunamis.
Yeah.
Now, granted, they didn't come and flood our community.
We didn't get washed away.
But the sirens went
But
off
yeah,
in
we
our
had
town,
to
and we were told
evacuate,
to
and
evacuate.
we had,
and some
guests
damage. If you
evacuating
look at
with
California, it was a little further south. It really did a lot of damage in Capitola. And so we were in Half Moon Bay at the time, and we ran for the hills, drove to the hills. It was weird, eerie.
Yeah.
Okay, what else? Let's see, we've done tornadoes.
Yeah.
I was actually in one in Louisville, and then we had
We
an
just had
alert
one,
here
like,
just a
couple
couple
weeks.
weeks ago.
Yeah.
Woke us up,
2
sirens
months.
going off.
We've been here 2 months. We've had tornado and a hurricane.
And we've had 50 vultures in the backyard, and this place is wild. What other natural disaster did we do? What
Isn't
else
that
are
enough?
there? Yeah. I think we hit more than 5, and usually
Mudslides,
bingo's 5 in a
fires,
row.
Earthquakes, yeah.
I think we've done them all. If you think we haven't done a natural disaster, put it in the comments. If you've done something different, again, it's not something to take
We haven't
light
been
and
struck
silly
by
of,
lightning, but who survives that?
well, people do, but yeah, I'd rather not.
Okay.
I'd rather not get struck by lightning. I would rather survive.
So, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Bingo!
Bingo. Yeah. Hey, so thank you for watching and joining us. And if you've made it all this way, watching our perspective as stupid newbie Californians to the East Coast and to the South, we're not really stupid, but it is funny to do a California newbie experience.
Yeah.
And watch the
Uneducated to the
neighbors
knowledge
kind of
of-
laugh at us. It's like, what? So, and that's kind of my go-to when I've talked to my other neighbors. I'm a whole newbie. California, we don't have these things. Actually, California does have hurricanes. Usually in the South. They had a big one come through Mexico
Not really.
and San
Doesn't
Diego.
count.
They
Doesn't count.
They had one come through San Diego last month.
Sorry.
Yeah. We've had hurricane force winds come through San Francisco, but it is different. This was very different.
This was very
absolutely different. Yeah. So if you've been watching all this time, would you subscribe if you aren't already a subscriber? And if you are, thank you. We're so glad you joined us.
It's free. And you know what I say?
Yeah.
If it's free, it's for me.
If it's free, it's for me. Absolutely. And it's free to you to subscribe.
Yeah.
But it does help us. It helps our
Notification
channel
bell,
grow.
yeah.
It gets the algorithm. If you've heard about other YouTubers talk about the grand algorithm of Google and YouTube, if we have more subscribers and more comments and more likes, then it gets us out there and it helps us grow. And we'd appreciate your participation in that with us. So thank you for doing that. And anything else?
On to the next natural disaster.
Oh, please no. Okay. Hey, be good to others. And now is a great time to actually put that into action. Be good to others. Bye-bye.
Done. Wait a minute. We need to get out of here. That lizard's coming to get us. I'm
Is
leaving.
his name Ian?
No, but he could turn into Godzilla. He's inside. He's gonna eat me. I'm leaving.
No.
I'm out of here.